Here at Sutherland Art Studio, interviewing our featured artist, Philip Carroll.
Thank you, Julia, for having me.
Of course. So I would love to talk about your paintings on display today.
Sure.
You have a wide range of works, and many of them are landscapes.
Yes.
So what do you think is most important when painting a landscape? What's the most important part of these paintings?
Probably just finding the subject to begin with. And I travel all over. Like this piece is one that's from Nova Scotia. Oh, wow. So this is up on Peggy's Cove, which the two houses together really fascinated me. Yeah. So that's what drew it to me, the huge rocks and the size. But it's about the composition and if it interests me or not. You just kind of find them,
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. When you're somewhere, do you sketch it out first?
Yes.
To remember?
I'll do sketches. I'll do watercolors. Awesome. I'll even take photographs so I have that reference so I can work from all three to create a painting.
That makes sense. And all of your paintings are beautifully rendered. You capture such intricate details.
Yeah.
Tell me about that process and getting those details correct.
It's almost, it's not as correct as you think it is. So there's a lot that changes, but just doing the layering and trying to get things to look like they would in nature. And sometimes I become a little bit obsessive with it, but it's my nature. So what can I do? Yeah,
of course. That makes sense. I like the purple, how it sprinkles in like how it would in nature.
Yes. Yeah.
In different places. Speaking of, you spoke a little bit to where you get your inspiration from. It's always real life, or where else do you get your inspiration from? Maybe other artists or?
Some other artists. I mean, not so much today. I mean, growing up, it was the Impressionists. It was, Claude Monet and people like that, and then their ideas.
Definitely. And do you think that you draw inspiration from nature as a whole or specific landscapes here and there?
From a whole, because you're always studying it, so you want to be able to know what you're looking at. But, I pick and choose the areas I want to go to, and I enjoy going to Maine and places like that and rural Pennsylvania to paint.
Yeah, that makes sense. I've noticed that you've done oil painting as well as watercolor. Mm-hmm. Which one do you prefer?
The oils I think I like the most. The watercolors, I love them, and I've just gotten back to them, but they're more of a study medium for me.
Okay.
So I can make the mistakes there and figure out what I'm doing and then do it in a larger painting if I want.
A larger watercolor painting or a larger oil?
Be a larger oil painting.
Okay.
Yeah, so there are studies for that. So I don't want to make the mistakes here because then it takes too long. So I do that beforehand and figure out what I want to do for the composition.
That makes sense. Have you always worked that way with oil over watercolor, or has that changed now?
No, I used to work in acrylics, and then I started working in watercolor, big sheets for years. Yeah. And then I went to watercolor and gouache. And there was some oil in between, but I do mostly oils now.
They're beautiful.
Thank you.
Of course. Well, are all of the paintings here today oil?
No, there's a mixture of oils and watercolor and gouache and some watercolors, yes. So I try to keep a variety for different people and what they like and different mediums that people like to purchase from me. So
yeah, of course. And I hope that many people come today.
So do I.
Yes, to see all of your paintings. And I hope that people continue to come as long as your exhibit is up here.
Thank you.
Of course. So thank you for your time. And I hope that tonight goes so well.
Thank you very much.
Of course.